Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the Transformers. On this episode, Rise of the Beast is finally in theaters, and we've got opinions. We've also got more from the producer on the next upcoming Transformers movie, and there just might be some news about the return of Transformers comics. Today is Friday, June 16th, 2023, and this is episode 342 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that wonders what a zombie superhero Transformer comic will be like. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Apollo, aka Robo Apollo.
Hi, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Huh? Oh, hi. Let's talk Transformers.
Did we wake you?
Deep in thought.
Oh.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and support the show. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatron, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. We've got lots of bonus content. We've got different perks. You're automatically entered into all our contests. You can watch the show live as we record it for each week. And you get some merchandise at the higher levels too. So lots of good stuff you can get. Speaking of bonus content, we've got exclusive bonus shows for our Donatrons, including Daryl's We Like Big Bots with his partner in crime, Dr. Pants. With Dr. Pants now back in the rotation, we might be seeing some big bots showing up a little bit more frequently soon. So look forward to that. Daryl, get back in the lab, get back to work. Your 6-month break is over.
Yes.
In addition to We Like Big Bots, we also give bonus content for our Transformers live play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. This week, we had the bonus version of Empire of Rust episode 103. It's Smurf, but for time. So this is the latest episode. This has all the uncut, outtakes, other stuff that's in this episode. You can only hear it if you're a Donatron. If you're not a Donatron and you're still listening to Empire of Rust, you got to wait till next week to listen to the regular version of Empire of Rust 103. So you get it. If you're a Donatron, you get it early and you get extra content. So that's nice. And of this week, we also had a bonus Transmissions Extra show. So this was Transmissions Extra episode 53. This came out on Monday, and so should be available to you right now. And our Empire of Rust Game Master, Mike, dived into the Transformers RPG from Renegade Games. So he and his friend Brandon check it out and create some characters for the Renegade Games Transformers role-playing game system. This is quite separate from the Empire of Rust system that Mike uses. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out and how it compares. So take a listen to that. Should be fun. And if you are interested in the Transformers role-playing game, this will give you a little taste of what's involved in it. So you can see if you can check it out and play it yourself. Again, we want to remind you that coming this Monday, so just a couple of days, we're doing our Transformers live or Transmissions special Rise of the Beast spoiler reactions. So you can get in on this live stream. We're going to hear from you, our listeners, about what you thought of Rise of the Beast. We're also going to have some special guests. We'll be there too, of course. So, we're going to give you our review in this episode, but we'll still be hanging around and we'll have some discussions there. So, come hang out this Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time in the summer, and watch and hang out with us and talk about Rise of the Beast. Did it live up to your expectations? Did it live up to the hype? Did you enjoy it, or was it terrible? So those are all possibilities for what your opinion was.
And if you're a Donatron, be on the lookout. I'm going to post something on the Patreon site and in the Discord on how you can connect and, quote, call in. So you have that information ahead of time before we start.
It's you. It's starring you in the live stream. And the last little bit before we get into the news, we have to remind you about our Toy Hacks code for June. That is Rewind. So you can use our code Rewind at toyhacks.com to get 15% off your orders. So everything you order from Toy Hacks, save 15% off your total order with Rewind. And use that code as much as you like for the month of June. Also, you can enter our contest for the Toy Hacks $10 gift code. We do a drawing at the end of every month. So at the end of June, we'll have another drawing. So if you are a Donatron, you're automatically entered into that contest. If you're not a Donatron, just send us an email to contest@transmissionspodcast.com with a picture of the Transformer toy you'd like to get some stickers for. So very easy to enter, and then we'll put you in the drawing for the end of the month. So enjoy. All right, we're going to start off the show. Before we get into our Rise of the Beast review, we're going to start off the show to talk about some of the big comics news this week. Although, as I say this, I'm in the time machine, so I haven't actually seen all the big comics news yet. But when we do see it, we're going to record another segment and put it in here. So it's going to be a little bit timey-wimey here. Also, Apollo can't make that future session, so she will disappear for a little bit, but then she'll be back for the Rise of the Beast review. So,
it'll be a Back to the Future thing. We'll have fixed, we'll have fixed the past, and she'll have returned.
Yes. I disappear because we're missing stuff.
So we're going to start off with the comics news. Go. All right. We're in the future now after we did our introduction to alt mode. And stay tuned after this segment for our Rise of the Beast, all our media news, Rise of the Beast news, and our Rise of the Beast review, both our non-spoiler and spoiler review. That's coming soon. But right now we're talking about comics because we got comics news.
Where's Apollo?
Charles screwed something up with the timeline.
We can fix this. It's okay. We can fix it. So we have been speculating for a long time about where the new Transformers comics are coming from, what the new home of Transformers will be. We've had a rumor for a long time. We've discussed the rumor several times on alt mode, and yeah, the rumor was true. It's Skybound. Image Skybound has gotten the license for Transformers comics. Robert Kirkman is spearheading the new relaunch of Transformers comics, but he did it in a unique
Robert Kirkman way.
So this week is the first issue of Robert Kirkman's brand new comic in a brand new shared universe. It's Void Rivals #1. And of course, what's a Void Rival? Who are Void Rivals? When is Void Rivals? What is Void Rivals?
Why is
I don't know.
How is Void Rivals?
Yeah, what is it? We found out in the first issue. It seems to be, at least at the beginning, a very kind of self-contained story. Two alien races who are at war with each other. They crash on a planet. Both their ships are damaged, so they have to work together to figure out a way to escape. But of course, they hate each other because they're from these two warring races. Much like Autobots and Decepticons, but they're not Autobots and Decepticons. They're humanoid aliens who are fighting each other. But while they're exploring this desolate, deserted planet, they come across a broken down spaceship that's out of energy. They think, oh, the systems are compatible enough with our energy. We can give it a jump start. They give it a jump start, and it's not a ship. It's a transformer. And it turns into Jetfire, who immediately leaves them to their fate and does not even ask them if they're okay or if they need help. He just immediately says, "Oh, I've been offline for millions of years. What's happened to Cybertron? I gotta go. Sorry, gotta go.
Peace
And
out."
he's gone.
Yeah.
But that was the big reveal for Void Rivals #1. We had, no one had any inkling about this ahead of time. I got an email from my comic shop a month ago saying, "Hey, this Void Rivals new comic from Robert Kirkman is launching. Think you might be interested in it. So wait, maybe you might want to put it on your pull list." And I looked, I was like, "Okay, it's a surprise." He said, and the email says, "There's a surprise at the end." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll put it on pull list. I have no idea what this is, but sure."
And you didn't put together Kirkman, and we've been talking about this for so long.
Sorry.
You're supposed to be the smart one on the podcast.
I know, right?
This
guy's a doctor.
Well, at least I wasn't the one who leaked the story ahead of time, but someone leaked it a few days before the comic dropped. So we did hear about this. We heard about this in time for recording Alt Mode back on Sunday, but we figured we'd wait until the comic was actually out. So we're recording this on Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day. I got my copies of Void Rivals. I have read them. We got all the information. So,
yep.
And so we're kicking off a new Transformers universe. And now we have the official announcements. We have everything is, the press releases are out. Everyone knows the cat's out of the bag. So it's not just Transformers, it's Transformers and G.I. Joe in a shared universe, the Energon universe. So of course, Transformers are the central component of the universe. G.I. Joe's in there, and then Robert Kirkman's new Void Rivals characters are in there. But of course, everything revolves around Transformers and Energon. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen. Now we do have information about who's on the books. So of course, the Void Rivals book came out today. This is by Robert Kirkman, art by Lorenzo De Felici, colors by Mateus Lopez, and letters by Russ Wooten. So that's issue #1, debuted today. Transformers is not coming until October of this year, and that is going to be written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. Now, he seems to be a very prolific artist, so we can look forward to what he's going to do, but I get nervous when you got one guy doing the writing and art on a monthly book.
Yeah, hopefully he has a bit already done.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know his work other than the one image, which I think that's the image that we're showing right now is his work. But from what I'm hearing, other people are well aware of his work and excited about seeing him on Transformers. So I'm hopefully optimistic. And as someone pointed out in Discord to you, Daryl, the Autobot symbols are drawn. So
that's right. They are.
That's all you asked for, right?
Hey, it's the sign of a competent artist to be able to draw the Autobot and Decepticon symbols. They're not easy. So a good artist can draw them.
Yeah, so I wonder how he's going to keep up a pace for a monthly comic book doing both writing and art. So I hope that means that eventually, like after the first few issues, maybe Art Dudas will rotate around, or maybe there'll be another regular artist, or maybe So I want it to be. I want the monthly book to continue. So that's my concern. But maybe he's a machine and can do it and has no life and can keep up that pace.
I don't know. It's been done in limited series, but never on an ongoing for Transformers.
Well, we were talking a little bit before we started recording that this has been in the works for a bit now, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Hasbro, in an interview on Comics Beat with Kirkman, he said Hasbro reached out to him 2 years ago, asked him to pitch. So,
And I mean,
also 2 years ago, Daryl, during an AMA, asked Robert Kirkman, have you ever considered writing a Transformers book? So
that's true. And you want to read his answer? Because it's a little small for me.
yeah, he said he was part of a group going after the license around the time that Pat Lee's company Dreamwave acquired it from Hasbro. I even wrote a script around that time. I don't believe it was any good, but that'll probably be the closest I come to writing a Transformers comic, since my focus is now and forever will be doing new things. So he's a liar.
Mhm.
No, I mean, we'll see where this goes. I'm worried about the actual story because it seems a little safe to me.
I mean, I'm not going to call him a liar because he's not writing a Transformers comic. He's writing Void Rivals.
Yeah, no, I was
the
joking.
Transformers are just appearing in it. So
yeah.
But the point that I was going to make was that this is quite possibly has been in the works for quite some time.
Yeah.
And that this Daniel Warren Johnson could have put a number of issues in the can already.
Yeah.
So there could be a significant, number of issues ready to go. And that by October, when they start, issuing these books monthly, maybe the ongoing is going to be 15 to 25 issues, right? And he might already be 12 to 15 issues deep, right?
I mean, maybe this whole first phase of it will be mostly in the can by October, and then by the time he's ready to have another artist come in, his part will be done establishing the look and feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do buy I wouldn't say a lot, but I do buy a good amount of Image books. Most of them end up being just miniseries, but they're like 12 issue miniseries, right? So they're a good amount. So I can see this, this ongoing, in fact being, just a little bit longer, maybe 15 to 20 issues. Because that is just over the threshold of a miniseries, and then you could say, okay, well, we've gone the distance we need to do, and we've told this one story. Let's cut this one off and start something else. There aren't many Image titles that have gone a long way. There's only really two that are significant, and that one is Spawn, which is now the record holder for the longest ongoing independent comic book at 300 and I don't know what they're at now, 330 something. And then
Walking Dead.
I think it's Savage Dragon is close behind it at 300 something. I think it's 300 now. But anyway, so they don't really tend to go real long over there at Image.
Well, Kirkman did have two series that ran real long. I mean, we had Walking Dead, which went for over 100 issues, and Invincible, which
192, 193 Walking Dead went for.
Yeah. And Invincible, I think, was like 150 something. So, so I'd be happy with a Transformers comic that went for over 100 issues.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, for sure.
Well, and with the shared universe, I mean, having it planned out from the beginning to be a shared universe, I think, is going to be a good thing, because the G.I. Joe Hasbro integration stuff, in IDW was really kind of nailed on, duct taped. I mean, it just timing didn't really work and stuff. But this, they're coming out with a Duke and a Cobra Commander limited series in December and January that are supposed to tie in but also work alone, and both of those are written by Joshua Williamson, who seems to be writing a little bit for everybody these days. And I'm in for a book that he writes just on his name alone, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the whole universe is going to look like.
And the Duke series is art by Tom Riley, and the Cobra Commander series is art by Andrew Milana. And there is mention in some of the articles. There's mention of another secret ongoing series that's going to be announced later, which is probably going to be G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So will probably be announced later. But
My
yeah,
Little
so
Ponies.
well, IDW still has My Little Ponies.
Yeah,
There has to be a crossover there.
You know what I'd like to see? Just throwing this out there. We have no information with this at all. I would love to see a comic told from the Decepticon point of view, right? Like it's just, pick one or two, Decepticon protagonists and just tell the story from their perspective.
That would be nice. And
It would
not
be an interesting
not a
change.
mustache twirling villain. Just they think they're doing the good,
Yeah.
They're the heroes of their story.
Scavengers. Give us Scavengers ongoing.
Sure.
Scavengers.
Yeah.
So that's the comics news. We've got Void Rivals. I'm in. I guess I'm in for all of these comics now. Void Rivals on my pull list. Transformers coming in October, so it comes on the July solicits. So it'll be on the solicits next month. So put it on your pull list. And then Duke and Cobra Commander. I guess I'm in for those too. So
at least the first, couple issues.
Yep.
One thing that I thought was interesting in this interview on Comics Beat with Robert Kirkman, I wanted to share that. He was asked what his personal Transformer story is, and he's apparently the same age as me. And basically watching Optimus Prime die in the 86 movie is probably what contributed to the shocking Walking Dead deaths as he, was processing that as an adult. I thought that was really interesting.
That's why Glenn died.
So he's our age. He's grew up with these things. So I'm optimistic, but still hesitant. We'll see, but I'm really just hoping that as they get things established, more of the previous Transformers artists will get a shot at contributing to it.
Yeah, that's something we would really love to see. Like bring back Andrew Griffith, Alex Milne, Casey Collar, Corin Howell,
Kazama.
So yeah, so many great Transformers artists who's worked for IDW over the years. So yeah. But yeah, that's the comics news. Excited. So this has been an exciting week for Transformers. We got Rise of the Beasts in theaters finally. We got new Transformers comics finally announced. What's happening with new Transformers comics, and a cameo in a brand new issue that came out this week. So it's been a good week for Transformers, and so hopefully this is a sign of good things to come. Crossing our fingers that this will be good. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all our comics news. So we're going to send it back to the past and more Transformers media news and all that good stuff. So take us back and we'll work on the flux capacitor and try to bring Apollo back, get her, unerase her from existence. So here
come on,
go.
Gigawatt.
All right. Wasn't that interesting comics news?
I am shocked. Never would have thought that would have happened.
And now
so glad we got Apollo back.
Yes, thank you for bringing me back. I disappeared because there was something wrong with the timeline.
We restored her existence. We saved her from being erased from existence.
Yes, I appreciate not being erased from existence.
Okay, now we're going to jump into our Transformers media news.
The website Collider, and they have an interview with everyone's favorite producer of the Transformers, Lorenzo de Bonaventura, and how hyped he is about the Transformers 1 movie. That's the animated movie that's coming out next year. and the fact that Chris Hemsworth is going to be voicing Optimus Prime. This movie, we've talked about it before. It is set for a September 2024 release, and it is the one that is getting directed by Josh Cooley, and it has a very large cast that has been announced already, including Scarlett Johansson, and I'm totally blanking on the rest of them right now.
Brian
there it is.
Henry is Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And Keegan Michael Key, John Hamm, Lawrence Fishburne. So very cool. It's and I'm excited about this too. Peter Cullen can't voice Optimus Prime all the time. Let's just I know people are really upset about that, but he cannot voice Optimus Prime all the time. There, I've said it.
Well,
so if you want to read the full article, you can there. Jeremy, I'm talking. I'm sorry, you can't speak. You have no time for your opinion. We're going to move on now. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
I'm just saying there's a quote here where it sounds like he wants to move from Chris Hemsworth as Ryan Pax to Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, and I'm worried about that. I want Chris Hemsworth to make that change into Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is just he's saying that Hemsworth will sound like the Cullen Optimus Prime, which again, I also don't want that. I want Chris Hemsworth portrayal of Optimus Prime, not his portrayal of Peter Cullen. But we'll see. I mean, really, Les Lorenzo is better in my mind.
I do appreciate that he did drop the Orion Pax name, so he knows that Optimus Prime is Orion Pax before he becomes Optimus Prime. So that's good. That gives me confidence that that'll be in the movie.
Lorenzo, listen, come in for a second, guys. Lorenzo, we know you're listening because you listen to everything that has your name attached to it. Lorenzo, you're terrible. Give up the license, please. Give it to somebody else. Anybody. Like, you got a 17-year-old nephew? Let them take it over. Somebody. Give it to somebody. Please. Anybody. Let's move on.
Daryl does not speak for the entire transmission.
Yes. That's the
podcast
disclaimer.
crew.
Yeah.
Not officially.
It's just Daryl's opinion.
Moving on. So the Hollywood Reporter has an article out here saying that Transformers Rise of the Beast has beat Spider-Man with its $60.5 million box office opening. That it needs to be clarified that it is Spider-Man's second week, but it did in fact beat Spider-Man out on its second week. So we have some numbers here to throw at you. So Spider-Man did get $55.4 million, which was down 55% from its first week. $110 million outside the US and $40 million in China. So those are some lofty numbers. Good job, Rise of the Beast.
Pretty sure all of those are more than Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely an improvement over Bumblebee.
We'll talk about it in a second, but there are some definite opinions on this movie.
Well, he's talking about the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers are an improvement over Bumblebee.
I have opinions on the numbers too.
Well, the numbers don't change according to your opinion.
Well, I think there's real numbers and then there's the factual numbers.
That's the same thing, Daryl.
It's not a metric and imperial thing here.
Moving on.
We have facts and we have opinions.
That's right. Up next, we have a new song. This is the Fighting Side by Side. It's the Chinese theme song for Rise of the Beast, and it is out now. And this is sung by Gaia. I'm going to go with. It looks to be the pronunciation of the name. If it's not, I apologize. But that is the name of the song, Fighting Side by Side. And it is a music video There's a music video here. It is on the TFW 2005 page, and you can view that. The video does feature several scenes from the movie. Right. And then up next, we've got the score. So Jeremy and Charles got a chance to interview the Rise of the Beast composer, Jean-Nic Bontemps, and the score that was composed is now fully available on Amazon Music and Apple Music. And it does consist of 26 tracks, and the titles can be very spoilery. So if you haven't seen it, maybe see the movie before you start reading the titles. Also, I didn't mention it is also available on Spotify. So there you go. And you guys have started listening to that, right? So it's
I've listened to it a few times. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is great. Amazing job as always with these live action movies. The soundtrack or the score is one of the highlights.
Awesome. I got to listen to it. I haven't done it yet, but I want to check it out.
Yeah. All
right. And lastly, we got a release date for the Rise of the Beast DVD and Blu-ray. So actually maybe not a date. Do we have a date?
Just listings. I don't think there's a date announced yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So no worries. Sorry, everybody. No date. But we've got listings for the DVD, which is going to be $20. The Blu-ray plus a digital copy is going to be $24.99, and then a 4K Blu-ray is going to be $29.99. These have all shown up on the Target website, and so guess you can pre-order it now.
All right, so I think that's all our media news. So now we've got the big media news, which is our Rise of the Beasts review. All right, we've all seen it. Some of us multiple times. And I'm planning to see it again. I haven't gotten a chance to, but we got to see Rise of the Beasts last week. We all, have some impressions. I think what we're going to do, so just giving a warning to everyone who is watching or listening, we're going to start off with some spoiler-free thoughts, just general spoiler-free thoughts, and then we'll get into the spoiler talk. So, we'll warn you when we're getting the spoilers, but once we do, that'll be it. So, but you're still good right now, but but we'll tell you just a little bit.
And that's the rest of the show. So,
yeah.
You can just be done with the show if you want to avoid spoiler.
Yeah. So if you hadn't got a chance to see it, just be warned. Now, starting off with our non-spoiler, just general thoughts. I was pretty happy with the movie. Like we did our instant reactions. That's already up on YouTube. I said an 8 out of 10. I yes.
You were in the US.
Oh.
I said it was an 8 out of 10. I think that's still my impression at this point after having having seen it and then having just mulled about it, thought about it over the last few days. It was a very good departure from the previous Bay movies in terms of the Transformers got more focus. It felt like it was more their story, and we got a lot of their, everything focused on them, and the humans were also had a component of the story, but I would say this one, it was more like 70-30 Transformers humans, whereas like the previous Bay movies have always been like 60-40 in favor of humans, and this one was definitely more heavily focused on the Transformers. And the first act was a little bit more human heavy just to set up the two main human characters. But after the first act, it's pretty much all Transformers all the time, with the humans still there and hanging out and having dialogue. But the Transformers really draw the focus, which is what you want in a Transformers movie. This is what I've always said is like, give me Transformers in a Transformers movie. It's not a super amazing story. It's pretty simple, straightforward story, but I did appreciate all the references to Transformers lore and backstory and everything, and how they weave that together. And I think it was I hope this is like a sign of where we're going for future movies, is that we're continuing in this direction. I liked like we had some character growth from Optimus Prime. I mean, it is kind of set in like before he's the Optimus Prime that we kind of know and love, as as the, I'll say G1 Optimus Prime, I guess. But this Optimus Prime is a little bit more, he's a little bit rougher. Like he's just come to Earth. So he's a little bit less, less warm and cuddly, I would say. But he gets that growth in the movie. So like where he ends up at the end of the movie is where we think of him as our G1 Optimus Prime. So I think I was pretty happy with it, and the human characters were not annoying. They were fun and really, and the actors are good too. Like I like Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. I thought they did a great job in their performances. I was pretty happy with how everything went. So I have some specific criticisms, but I'll save that for the spoiler stuff. But overall, I was pretty happy. So, Daryl, I'm gonna shift it over to you, because I think we've all like been talking about it over the last week. But since you were kind of incognito at work, we haven't really heard much from you about what you thought. So let her rip.
Well, I really, really liked Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. I thought they were both excellent additions to the Transformers human cast. What can I say that's not spoilery? I loved the use of the Porsche 911, how they used it in the movie for Mirage. As a car guy, that's a gorgeous car. It's whether you're a car guy or a car person. Sorry, a car person.
Thank you.
That is a beautiful vehicle, and it was. I mean, you could kind of tell that Porsche was part of the production on this, because that was showcased very well. It was nice to see it, and they had some good scenes with that vehicle. The movie was shot in a way that emphasized some of the exotic locations really well, and I really liked that. What else can I say here? I felt the story was somewhat lackluster, and really could have used a significant. I mean, I'm a guy who likes the punchy, fighty stuff, and this movie was not short on that, but it got to a point where I kind of wanted some more dialogue. So yeah, I mean, there was some things that I really just felt like the movie was kind of lacking there. So I'll save the rest of it, because I really don't want to spoil anything at this point, but I do have some more specific stuff.
Yeah. Okay, Apollo, what about you? You've seen it the most, so you probably have very clear opinions.
Yeah, so I got to see it last Monday, June 5th. I got invited to a press showing by Mike Seibert, who's a friend of the show. And then I saw it at the fan event Wednesday, and then I went again Friday. So I really liked it. I'm agreeing with both of your comments so far. it wasn't a perfect like 10 out of 10 film, but it was entertaining and it was so much fun. I really liked the human characters, which, has been a problem in most of the Transformer movies. I also liked that the bots had a lot of dialogue and a lot of character growth and development, which you pointed out, Charles, they were kind of sideline characters in most of the other movies except the Bumblebee movie. I agree with you, Daryl. Like, I feel like there needs to be a little more dialogue. I don't know if this is going to count as spoilers, but like in comparison to Bumblebee, like Bumblebee had a lot more heart and dialogue. This was way more action packed, it was nice, because I feel like Bumblebee could have used a little more of that too. I am very shocked in a good way. Like Mirage turned out to be my favorite character. So Pete Davidson, I am sorry that I talked bad about you when I found out you were cast for this film.
Don't worry. Don't be sorry. He's trash.
Don't be okay. No, but like I mean, I don't know the guy, but like he did a good job as Mirage. Like he made him really fun, and like I was laughing so much at what he was saying and doing, and I really liked his friendship with Noah. So, and I really, really liked seeing, just all the humans interacting too, like with Noah and his own brother and stuff. And it's a good movie. Like, I'm not going to see it again in movie theaters. 3 times is enough for me. I will wait for the Blu-ray release. But it was really good, and the score was really good. The music, I have like the main theme stuck in my head now. So yeah, those are my spoiler thoughts. I have a lot of spoiler thoughts, but I will not be talking about those because I disappear for a bit during this episode. So you'll have to hear those a different time, I guess.
Well, no, we're gonna do it right now. So just
we are. Okay.
Just wait a few minutes. Wait, you'll still be here in a few minutes, I hope.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, okay.
Don't disappear yet.
I won't disappear yet. Okay, good. If I won't go, I don't feel so good, and
oh no,
that won't happen. You guys already saved me. You saved me earlier, right. So I'm good. I'm not gonna be pulled through the multiverse or anything. I'm good. Yeah. Okay, Jeremy, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have to agree with. Thanks, Daryl. No one ever expects the Daryl Cook pop. But I have to agree. I thought this was a lot of fun. It was definitely a summer blockbuster. Formula that it didn't take too many risks, and the plot was basically you have to go from A to B to C, which is fine. I wasn't really looking for a complicated movie. It was easy to follow. It was you had enough set up in Act 1 for the payoffs in Act 2 and 3, and I also agree that the 2 human characters were probably some of the best human characters we've had in the live action movies. They contributed in meaningful ways to the story that it wasn't really a stretch. And I thought that really worked out well. We had a nice kind of parallel arc with Anthony Ramos's character and with Optimus Prime. There's some similarities there that did also make sense, and some nice kind of payoffs. And like you said, the arc that they gave Optimus Prime was great, where seeing him come into a more familiar version. And my wife, when we saw it as a family today, she was like, she was telling me that when we the early parts of the movie, she was like, man, this Optimus Prime is a douche. And then, at the end, she's like, okay, he came into what she would expect Optimus Prime to be. So really good character arcs there. I do wish that some of the some of the Beast characters had more lines. Some of them were more action than, I think one only had a handful of lines. The other had no lines. But, you're paying your voice cast a lot of money. So the less name actors are going to have smaller parts. But I'm really hoping that we have a more Beast focused movie after this that can kind of expand the universe. No, Daryl just can't wait for that. As a Beast Wars fan, I am really happy that some of the concepts of Beast Wars came through pretty much unscathed. And I won't really get into a lot of that at this point, but I as a Beast Wars fan, I am very happy. I thought that Ron Perlman did a great job as Optimus Primal. Really, a lot of the robot voices were great. Like Mirage was great. I didn't know what to expect going in, and I thought it was good. And the music, both the score and the soundtrack, really great. As a white guy that grew up in the South in the 90s, I wasn't familiar with hardly any of the songs, but I enjoyed the soundtrack. So yeah, I think I'm going to save my other thoughts for the spoiler section, but thoroughly enjoyed it. And I would agree with Charles that 8 out of 10 is probably what I would have rated it to. It was just easily up there with Bumblebee as like in my instant reaction, I put it up there with Bumblebee and the 2007 movie. I think it's firmly with Bumblebee as one of the best live action movies, and just a lot of heart. And yeah, I think that's all I can say non-spoilery.
All right, so yeah, unanimous decision from the Transmissions podcast. So far, we haven't heard from Mike or Dr. Pants yet, but so far, a unanimous decision that we enjoyed the Rise of the Beast movie. So, we give it our seal of approval. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Let us know if you don't agree with us too. So
join us on the 19th.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
all right.
I thought it was okay. I'm not saying great. Right. I'm not going 8 out of 10. I'm maybe about 6.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Daryl's no longer affiliated with Transmissions. Okay, so we did our spoiler-free thoughts. Now we're getting full spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, shut it off now. Shut off the podcast now. We're getting into the details. Stop. This is your last warning. We're getting into spoilers. Spoilers are coming right now. Okay? You heard me? All right. Okay, Apollo, I'm going to let you go first. Let us know what your full thoughts, what highs and lows, however you want to structure it. What did you think?
Wow, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions. So, as I said earlier, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought they did a really good job incorporating the Beast Wars characters. I was very concerned about that. As a Beast Wars fan, growing up, and I was very happy with them. I really liked Airazor's character a lot in the film. So I might as well start off with spoilers. So with her dying, that was really sad to me. I was just like, what? And we didn't get to see her robot mode either, which is really annoying. And also with Cheetor and Rhinox, we didn't really get to see theirs for very long either. So those were criticisms. I guess I'll start off with criticisms. But I, thought it was very interesting that they had Optimus really skeptical and unsure and really kind of hostile about humans. I was really shocked by that. I think, Jeremy, earlier you said your wife said that, he's kind of a douche. It's like, yeah, he was. Like, this is not the Optimus I was expecting,
And that's what Optimus Primal says that in the movie.
Yeah, he does. He totally says that. He's like, oh, I was named after this guy. This is not the guy. And Air Razor's just like, yeah, but he's had a lot of loss. You have to understand that. He's been stranded on this planet for 7 years. And it was brought up earlier, that Noah and him both are having this like parallel arc where it's kind of like, I will do whatever it takes to get what, to protect my family, with, the whole thing with Noah and his little brother. I love their relationship as siblings. And the whole thing with his brother having the, I'm guessing it's sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
That was really heartbreaking, and just just showing how the American healthcare system is so messed up, where he's denied healthcare.
Been messed up since the 90s.
Yeah, since the 90s. It's been like years, and it's still messed up. And my heart really went out to that, so it pushes, Noah, he's, trying to do the right thing. He goes to the job interview, he gets denied, and they tell him, oh, when the guy who was going to hire him is like, I don't want someone like you to mess up what I've built. And then when he's like, you don't even know me, it's like it really hurt. I really felt that, and then he's pushed to doing a life of crime, which is how, he discovers Mirage and whatnot. But it's, I really liked that they did a spotlight on this, and maybe some change will actually come from this, because it's just so, it's really crazy just how the system is right now. But I really liked, how, him and Mirage first meet, he's trying to rob him, unlock him, and then the door locks again. He's like, wait, what? And his friend was really funny. He's like, do those breathing exercises. And it's just I'm just laughing, and love seeing all the Easter eggs, for all the stuff in 1994. I really liked they showed the Twin Towers. I know a lot of movies try to avoid showing that skyline of New York. I'm actually glad they did that, because hey, they were there in 1994. Other things that I caught watching it, because I've seen it 3 times now, was they had the O.J. Simpson trial on, a security guard did at one point. And Jeremy, you were saying earlier before the show, someone figured out the exact date.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Place.
I think it was New Rock Stars, or one of those channels that go kind of into details. It was the Bronco chase that they were showing, and they were like, well, if they're showing the Bronco chase as news, then this is the exact date that it happened. I can't remember what the date was, but it was the exact date in 1994, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I remember I was in social studies class when it happened.
Yeah, I remembered I was in elementary school, and it came up even in elementary school, which is really weird actually, now thinking back on that. But no, and I liked Elena's character too. The movie highlighted once again how she was being mistreated, and as an intern, and her boss was taking all the credit for her work. And I really liked, both the main human characters in this film. And I really liked how she had a lot of compassion for the Autobots and Optimus, and really, tried to understand them. And there was a quote that she said in the movie where they were talking about her father, because her father was a cabbie driver, and she was saying, my dad used to say, if you keep your eyes and ears open, life will show you the way. And I thought that was just a really powerful quote too. So, so that was really good. So those are a lot of my, I guess, initial thoughts on the movie. I could talk about it for quite a bit. I noticed a lot of stuff on Scourge's arm too. And I think I posted about this in the Discord talking with you guys. There's he has Autobot, Decepticon symbols on his arm. These are his prizes for people he's killed. There was also the Wreckers symbol, the Elite Guard Autobot symbol, a Quintesson symbol. Jeremy, I think you pointed out, what was the other symbol?
The Predacon.
The Predacon symbol. I'm sure there were more. And then if you are watching the movie again, when Elena's on the computers, like looking at those research papers, like in the captions, it actually mentions like Optimus Primal by name. Like, and I couldn't read fast enough to read what else it said. So I'm going to stop talking so someone else can talk. But like, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie. The plot is not, it's straightforward. You know, it's not complicated. As DJ wrote here, it's safe. You know, it was a safe story, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, Daryl, why don't you get into some of your thoughts?
Okay. So I alluded to the fight scenes and stuff like that. So I found a lot of the fight scenes to be, too close, perhaps, to the characters that were involved in the main fighting. Or maybe that the camera moved too quickly around them as they fought. It's different than the Bay movies, because the Bay movies, the characters were all the same color, and it was hard to follow them in their fighting. In this one, they were hard to follow because the camera, I felt like the camera was moving too fast and it was too close to the characters. So that was my major critique about the fighting. And it was the CGI was done wonderfully. Everything looked really crisp and clean, and but as far as that goes, I found it hard to follow the fighting just because everything was just so close and quick. Whether it was supposed to be made to make you feel like you were part of it, I'm not sure, but it felt, and my seats were at the very back of the theater, and it was still like too quick for me. The fact that there's always a MacGuffin in these movies, does it always have to have a MacGuffin? It's a little bothersome that they're always looking for something. They're always chasing something, or somebody's chasing down another character because they found something that these other guys want. The MacGuffin part starting to drive me a little crazy. What else? I adored Apollo said it, the relationship between the brothers, the Anthony Ramos's character and his younger brother,
Noah and Chris,
right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a wonderful little, like C plot that was just kind of put in there. That was just kind of, a great little piece that you could show. The problem being is that the US audience is really the only one that kind of gets any kind of, kind of recognizes that the fact that their healthcare system is shit, because the rest of the world has decent healthcare. Most of the rest of the world anyway, developed nations do. And, so anywhere else in the world, they see that and they're like, well, just go to the hospital. And so when we see that in a movie, it's either one, makes us feel sorry for the US, or two, confuses us because we don't understand that you guys can't just go to the hospital. I enjoyed some of the other characters, some of the random characters, like his little licorice eating friend, the crime master that he was. I I don't remember his name, but he was hilarious. Reek.
Reek. That's Toby in Wigway, right? That's the.
Oh,
that's
was
the
it?
guy who
Wigway.
played Reek. Yeah.
Okay. He's hilarious. I love that. That was funny. And yeah, so I enjoyed his little addition to it. And if this franchise continues down this storyline, I'd love to see him kind of continue in this kind of role, similarly to how man, I can't remember his name, but the one guy that talks really fast in the Ant-Man franchise.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Luis.
Yeah. How he's he starts off the series as a crime guy, and then he's they're terrible at crime, but they're but by the end of it, they're all kind of like in business together. So yeah, because he obviously knows at the end of the movie, who Mirage is. The Maximals were an okay group of characters. I really would have preferred to see them transform more. Apollo is right. That obviously we don't get to see Air Razor's robot mode at all. And the rest of them only transformed during the final battle, which, again, getting back to my first point, was really hard to see who was doing what. And because you don't see them until that final battle, you really don't know what the heck you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they wanted to do was save that, because you have that line at the end where he says Maximals maximize, and that's supposed to be like the oh shit moment where they all transform. But
Sure.
Unfortunately, that means you don't transform them at all for the rest of the movie, and that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I would have taken or been happy if he had done a maximized line earlier in the movie with less emphasis, and then when he yells it out on the battlefield, it would still have that impact.
Each character can also transform themselves, right?
Yeah.
So, why didn't each one of them do it? And you could have them each do their own little thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They should have done it. It would have been nice. The major reveal at the end of the movie with the shared universe is huge. We've discussed it, I don't know how many times, that Sector 7 in the Babe movies should have been G.I. Joe from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think the whole internet agrees with us. This is the way it should have been, and it seems like this is the way they're going to go with it. And yeah, it's a no-brainer when you think about it. It's just the way it needs to be. So
I love how they led you thinking that it was going to be Sector 7.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've only seen the movie once, and at the end of the movie, when they show that area of G.I. Joe space, I was, because I don't think he had flipped the card over yet. I'm not sure. Maybe he had, but he's.
No, you're right. You're right. They opened it up.
No.
They opened up first before you see him flip the card over.
Right. So I was scanning that whole area trying to find something. What the hell is he looking at? What's in there? Right. And honestly, I mean, other than the crashed spaceship that's down in the corner, I didn't see anything that really gave anything away. Now, I may have missed something small that I didn't see, but there's really nothing in there.
Vehicles
I didn't either.
No, there's nothing there. So, I mean, obviously the flip over of the card is the big reveal. And I mean, it's huge. And we've all seen it. So when Bumblebee jumps from the plane, did people in your theaters clap?
Yes. All 3 times.
Okay, because it happened in mine as well, and I'm like, really? People?
My kid, he was. I could tell he was upset when Bumblebee died, and when he saw he was back, he was so happy.
All right.
I mean, I just they chose the exact perfect track for that. When as soon as he pulled and they start playing LL Cool J, "Mama Said Knock You Out." That was the perfect song choice there.
I recognize that song.
I got that reference. So we must be underestimating exactly how popular Bumblebee is with the crowd that is of the Bay movie era. Because I saw him come back, and I mean, we knew he was coming back, right? Because we saw the little
the toy
energon coming from towards the hand and whatever, and you know, also it's in the freaking trailer.
Yeah, they spoiled both his death and his return in the trailer.
Yeah,
the trailers gave so much away.
They show Scourge impaling Bumblebee in the trailer, and then they show Bumblebee jumping out of the plane in the trailer. So it's like, if you're watching the movie, you're like, wait a minute, he didn't jump out of the plane yet. Oh, he's coming back at the end of the movie. I mean,
yeah. So I love and I hate trailers for that exact reason. Because they can get you really pumped up and you really want to see the movie, and then they also ruin the movie for you. But, you know, would Bumblebee have made that big of a difference? I guess he did. The Terracons, I mean, Battletrap really was a nothing character. There was nothing to Battletrap. Nightbird was actually pretty cool. I like Nightbird quite a bit. I would have liked to have seen her car mode a little bit more, because she's got an awesome vehicle mode. And I mean, the kind of car chase-esque fight between Prime and Scourge that happened on the side of the mountain, that was really cool. The fight that happened and over top of everybody, that was awesome. But I'm really, from all of the movies, Bay ones included, I'm really hoping for a legitimate car chase with robots. So they did a car chase in the 2007 movie with Bumblebee and Barricade. But what I want is a car chase where one of them, when they catch up to each other, they stop, transform, fight a little bit, and then one of them gets away and drives off again, right? Until the other one catches them, and then they fight some more in robot mode. I want a legitimate car chase with a fight every now and then. And, you know, it kind of happened in the 2007 movie, but not to the extent that I was hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, what I liked, because I recently rewatched Bumblebee, he would transform part of his car, and like when he was like, you know, trying to hold onto the railing, he would transform part of his car to hold on, and that's the kind of stuff I was hoping we would get more of.
Right.
I think there was a pretty good car chase scene in Dark of the Moon. I haven't rewatched that in a long time.
I don't know what
that
you're
was
talking about.
But they I mean, I do remember, like, I remember watching that in the theater, and like, you know, Bumblebee's you've got Sam Witwicky in the car with Bumblebee. He's driving, the Decepticons are chasing him. They're like, he does some kind of jump on a bridge or something. He transforms, like, has Sam in the air, and then shoots the Decepticons and transforms back into the car around Sam. I mean, so I have to rewatch the scene to see just how extensive it was, but that was, I do remember that being a pretty cool car chase moment. So.
I just know, as a car guy, that there are some movies that are known for amazing car chases, and these movies feature robots that turn into vehicles. Why can we not get a single one of these movies to have an awesome car chase? Right? Like, I can name off a couple movies, like at least a hand's worth of movies that are amazing car chase movies, and none of them are Transformers movies. It drives me nuts. You could have an amazing car chase, and they just can't do it.
But we hardly got any of RC's motorcycle mode too.
Yeah,
I know.
what the hell? Yeah. I mean, she was a badass, right? And I enjoyed her in the movie, but she really didn't get that much screen time.
No.
Was there? I mean, where was did we not see in a trailer a part where she just kind of somebody looks at her and she just kind of gives like the thumbs up or whatever?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
scene
Yeah.
was not in the movie. Yeah, that was
there
not
was a
in the
lot of
movie.
stuff in the trailers.
movie.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of stuff in the trailers that were misdirects or cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a director's cut maybe of this to see what they could do, what Stephen Caple Jr. would like to have left in the movie. But I mean, the whole aspect of Unicron, is Unicron, like, is that possible for a continuation? Is this the Unicron saga for the live action? Is this, Unicron still out there? Because is Unicron transformable? It looked like he possibly was. So I mean, I'd like to think that Unicron's not gone, because I want to see a giant robot try and destroy a planet. That'd be cool.
Well, the Stephen Caple Jr. said he thought that Unicron could form a trilogy. Like, so I think the ending implies that Unicron is still out. I think even they say one of the characters says he's still trapped, but he's still out there. So.
Yeah.
I would like to see, even beyond a trilogy, where Unicron could be the culmination of the shared universe, like G.I. Joe. The guy mentioned one of the things they do is planetary loss prevention, which I thought was a great term.
I like that.
So establish G.I. Joe, like you've introduced them, establish them. Maybe Noah moves over to them, and then have a culmination like an Avengers style movie where Unicron's the big bad, and they all have to team up and work together to defeat him. That's my goal.
Yeah. So the last thing that I have is about midway through the movie, Optimus just calls up Stratosphere and he shows up to haul their asses to Peru. Who else is on the planet? Like
Wheeljack, obviously.
Yeah.
Wheeljack is around, right? So who else is hanging out? Like, could he have
You'll see in the next movie, Daryl.
Yes. Yes.
Like, here they are fighting for their lives, and there's 4 of them, 5 of them. What? Like, I mean, you think he would have called for backup or saying, "Look, we're getting our asses handed to us. Get to Peru, or wherever the hell he was. I don't know where he was. I think he was in Peru.
Yeah.
But yeah, so." I mean, I know the answer to the question that it is obviously it's too expensive to make that many different characters. But how many characters were there? Where are they? Anyway, I'm done for now.
All right, Jeremy, it's your
All
time
right.
to shine.
Well, first off, this is definitely a reboot. This is, in my mind, the Beast Wars time travel spun off the Bayverse into their own thing, and basically the interaction between Primal and Prime is where the timelines diverge. That's how I'm reconciling everything. I'm not trying to make it work with any of the Bay movies anymore. This is it. I have a nitpick. It's a really tiny nitpick, but when Elena was using her computer looking up the stuff, you could clearly see that she was using Windows 95, and this was taking place in 1994. That she would be using Windows 3.1.
Windows 95 did come out in Windows 94.
It did not, Daryl. I was at the launch event. I wasn't at the big one, but I was at a local launch event. It came out in August 1995.
Did it?
Yeah.
You just didn't get an early version.
Well, a small museum on Ellis Island would also not get an early version. But anyway, that's just a little nitpick that I noticed on my second viewing. I think one thing that one of my friends, Jim Black, posted on Facebook that I told him I was going to steal. He said that This is literally a film with animals and a dude named Noah attempting to save the world from a global extinction level event at the hands of a god. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
This it was a lot of fun. I can't really disagree with a lot of what Daryl said.
Of course you can't.
There were some things that really should have been explained a lot better. The Beast Wars time travel stuff, it was just a one-line thing, and if you're not familiar with Beast Wars, it probably went right over your head. I had to explain it to my kid. But it is clear that is what they meant. You know, Beast Wars characters did come from the future to the past, and that's where the time, like when they left their planet, that's what they were doing. They were going to the past.
Yeah, they should have had some more exposition. Like they had a perfect moment when Optimus Prime is like, "Your name is Optimus Primal," and then he says,
Right.
"Oh, I'm named after you to honor you." And he's like,
right.
The follow-up question is, "Wait, how are you named after me? Like,
Right.
you were on this planet 500 years before I got here. How are you named after me?"
I wonder if there's some scene that was cut that went into more exposition, but I am really hoping that they didn't name the original planet, but in my mind it's Eucharist. From it means nothing to anybody, but in my mind that would be a nice little deep cut. But I really like how they took Noah's character and showed us at the beginning his skills with electronics, and you kind of get hints of his military background, but he clearly wasn't a team player, and that's kind of been his MO throughout life. Is he has all these skills, but he never really gets to take advantage of it, or he never really gets the shots and stuff because he's not a team player, and kind of messes up his own chances. And through the story, he, learns to be part of a team, and then Optimus's parallel storyline as well. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I want to know what kind of walkie-talkies he was using, though, that could go from New York to Peru.
Well, Mirage was boosting the signal.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool. I like the Sonic Tails nicknames that they had for each other. Thought that was cool.
Cute.
I noticed in the credits the first time, I say it all through the credits, and they gave like recognition to DC in there, and I'm wondering, I know they made that Superman reference, but I'm wondering, was that comic that Chris was reading, was it a Superman comic? I'm thinking it might have been.
I missed that. So
he was wearing a Power Rangers shirt.
Well, yeah, Hasbro
and a Game Boy, had a Game Boy.
Yeah, the Game Boy was nice. Although I don't really think there was a Game Boy game where Mario fought Bowser.
No, there wasn't.
So
I caught that too. I was like,
yeah, little things like that. But I mean, you would think though, with the Sonic Tails thing, they would have had a Game Gear.
Yeah,
but was Tails even around then? 94.
I mean, Tails was in Sonic 2. When did Sonic 2 came out?
I don't know. So I was a Nintendo guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think Rhinox had no lines in the movie.
Yeah.
And that kind of upset me a little bit, because Rhinox in Beast Wars was always kind of one of the like wiser characters, and he was also he was the engineer essentially. Cheetor had a couple lines, but Air was really good. I really enjoyed Air and Michelle Yeoh is, good in everything she does. I really like what they did there with her, her arc, even like kind of, making the ultimate sacrifice, telling Primal, this is what has to be done. And it just, what?
Oh, I had a question with her, like getting shot by Scourge. Was that cosmic rust?
I don't know. I just took it as some kind of corruption thing. Like maybe
Yeah.
that's how his like the other
Yeah,
two Terracons were created.
I've thought of it like as a, since he was like, they were all, the Terracons were all powered by Unicron. It was like some like a
Dark
Unicron.
Energon.
Yeah,
Mm.
Dark Energon.
Ooh,
There you
Dark
go. Some,
Energon. That's a good one.
yeah, Unicron venom you put on someone, and because it was corrupting her to the point where she was like about to become a zombie, a Unicron zombie. So
Mhm.
that's what it was doing to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Sonic 2 came out in 1992, so
Okay.
Yeah,
we're good there.
we're good on that.
All right.
Yeah.
The fights, I really do agree with Daryl on that. The way it was shot, it was hard at times to see what was going on. Although it was good that Bumblebee was out of the picture at one point, because then if you saw yellow, it's either Battle Trap or Cheetor. You don't have to see if it's also Bumblebee. But having the color on the all the different characters really did help, because you had all of the little like drones or whatever you want to call them that were basically all silver. Easy to kind of tell who the cannon fodder was and who the main characters were.
Mhm.
But see, I can't really think of anything else right off the bat. I mean, I'm sure as we talk, I'll have more things, but this was still, it was a solid 8 out of 10 movie. It heads and tails above all the Bay movies, except, the 07 movie it's a close behind it. So,
Yep. All right, so I agree with what everything that you guys said. I think it was pretty spot on. I appreciated like some of the like deep cuts. I mean, Ape Link. We got Ape Link at the very beginning of the movie. We got Ape Link, and it's like,
which was also spoiled apparently in the final trailer.
Mhm.
oh really?
And
Okay,
David Sokolov spoiled it
spoiled it.
on.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't see that then, because I was
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
He spoiled it Monday night.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I appreciated I like to the fact that they couldn't get other like additional CGI models. They took the Optimus Primal CGI model, modified it a little bit to make it look different, and you got another character, and that was cool. You got a character from like the BotCon convention, created the BotCon conventions. That's only that's a legitimate deep cut.
Yeah.
That only Transformers fans are going to appreciate. So I tip my hat to them for putting Ape Link in the movie and giving him like a key role at the beginning of the movie. I do think, I mean, just kind of the difficulty with Transformers movies is that it's an ensemble cast movie, so you got to try to find something for everyone to do. And I don't think this movie was able to do that for all the characters. Like you already said, Rhinox got no dialogue. Cheetor had very little. I think we really only get like Optimus, Mirage, Optimus Primal, and Air Razor. Those are kind of the four major Transformers that really get focus. Scourge also a little bit as the villain, but then also that was my problem with the villains, is they're very kind of paper thin mustache twirling villains. There's kind of no depth to the villains here. I would have liked Scourge to be like a little bit like maybe just even like muttering under his breath about how much he hates Unicron, but he still does what he wants. But in this movie, he's just like, no, I'm happy to do Unicron's bidding. I'm happy to murder everything around me. I don't care. But I mean, I did appreciate that they did take a cue from the '86 movie where Unicron is torturing Scourge when he fails. But you should have had, like, even in the '86 movie, you have Galvatron rebelling against Unicron. So I would have appreciated them to like maybe if he didn't even fully rebel, but just like was a little bit like I'd rather do my own thing. But So that's the Transformers has always had a villain problem. Like in the movies, they've never done the villains really justice in any of these films, unfortunately. I think Bumblebee actually did a little bit better, but here they're just there to be the bad guys. So I think like Peter Dinklage as Scourge did a great job in the dialogue. I did like Nightbird getting a little bit of dialogue, but again, like Nightbird and Battletrap get very little dialogue or screen time other than the fight scenes. So, that it is what it is.
Mhm.
But so for the next movie, I would hope they would explore the villains a little bit more, or shift the folk. Like now that we know that we can focus on the Transformers, now let's focus on Decepticons. Maybe we figured out the Autobots. We've kind of figured out the Maximals. Now let's figure out the Decepticons. Let's get a Decepticon focused movie. I do think this movie, while this movie is a great course correction and everything, and focuses on the Autobots, it's a little bit of a bait and switch to call it Rise of the Beast, because this is not really a Beast Wars movie. This is not really a Maximal movie. They are the new characters kind of introduced, but they're the side characters compared to the Autobots. So it's really the Autobots. Having said that, I did like how they fit in Optimus Primal and how he worked together with Optimus and Noah. And at the very end, you have all three of them working together, which I think is bringing the message full circle at the end of the movie about how Optimus Prime realizes he can't just be about protecting the Autobots. Noah realizes it can't just be about protecting the humans, and then Optimus Primal is the one who says, "Okay, we all have to look out for each other. We're all, it's all of us, not just you can't just be focusing on your single tribe." So I liked how that message came together. I thought that was well done. Shout out to Laura Luna Velez, who's Noah's mom in this movie, and is also Miles Morales' mom in Into the Spider-Verse. So she's
having a good summer.
Yes. So and she was also on New York Undercover back in I don't know if anyone else watched that show, that cop show back in the mid '90s. It was like the Fox diverse cast answer to like Law and Order cop shows, where it was a black and Latino cop, and then she was a Latina cop who was dating the main Latino cop in the show. So I always remember her from that show. So it's interesting to see, it's interesting how, of course it's 30 years later. So now she's getting all the mom roles, but back then, she was the hot young cop on the show. So just interesting to see her back here. I loved Mirage. Pete Davidson as Mirage did a great job. I was pleasantly surprised by that. I think Noah and Mirage's relationship throughout the movie really drove the movie. I thought that was really well done, and just at the end of the movie when he makes that sacrifice, and he's like, and he, even Mirage is like, I got to protect you for your brother and everything. I thought that was, that really gave some emotion to the movie. And then of course that leads to the awesome event where where Noah gets the exosuit and they're working together. We have Transformers talking in vehicle mode. Thank you for doing that, for recognizing that the Transformers are still intelligent beings, even when they're in their vehicle modes, and they can still talk and plan and do stuff. So, thank you for finally recognizing that in the film form. So, really appreciated that. I guess one slight disappointment was with Elena's character. She really took a back seat to Noah. I think they could have given her a little bit more to do in the movie. I think she was great for what she did, but I like even at the end where you just see her on a screen, like getting her accolades for making new discoveries. But there's a question as to whether or not she'll be like, will G.I. Joe contact her and put her on the squad too? I mean, I think it would be cool to have her come back. So it's definitely. I feel like this is a positive step in the right direction. It's not perfect. It's not free of criticism, but I was generally happy with how everything went. It was I talk about like with for all these action movies. For me, it's always does it clear the bar of do you have at least a interesting characters and story with great action sequences and is the CGI up to snuff and everything. So it doesn't have to be awesome dialogue, but is it good? Is there like I thought the mix of humor and seriousness was good here. I thought the characters were at least the main characters were interesting. And then the action was good. I enjoyed the action too. So all those things cleared the bar for me, and I enjoyed it as a Transformers movie. Yeah, but those side characters, we needed a little bit more. Like we needed a little bit more RC. We needed a little bit more Wheeljack. I really think they could have just made Wheeljack a different character because he didn't even do anything Wheeljacky. I mean, he didn't do any tech support or anything. So
it's
why
Wheeljack
did you
Jones? Different Wheeljack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the I know there was a lot of complaints about his design since his head shape didn't match the classic G1 Wheeljack. That is not a big deal for me, but the fact that he didn't really do anything if he had said, "Oh, I figured out this thing," or I'll take a look at Bumblebee and try to repair him, and then he says, "Okay, I fixed everything I could, but if he gets an Energon infusion, then he can be restored or something." But they didn't really give him anything to do here, so that felt like it was kind of a waste. RC, I thought she was cool, but also we didn't have a lot of dialogue from her and a lot of stuff from her, so that was kind of she was a side character. She didn't get a lot of stuff to do, but yeah, overall, it was I'm happy with it. I'm looking forward to the next one. I hope we can go even further. Maybe if they do if they are planning the next movie to be the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover, then hopefully we get that we started off with the Decepticons and Cobra joining forces, and that's kind of the motivation for the movie. I mean, I think that would be cool if they could use some time to really build up the Decepticon and Cobra characters as a way to drive the movie forward. That would be great. But we'll see. That's speculation. For this movie, I thought it was well done. The last thing I guess I do want to highlight, like my last kind of minor nitpick is we enjoyed the arc, like the progression of the character, progression of Optimus Prime. He goes from kind of not really liking humans to then realizing that he should protect the humans as much as he protects his Autobots. I do still feel like he's a little bit more bloodthirsty than I imagine Optimus Prime to be in this movie. Like several times in the movie, he is telling Scourge how he's going to kill him and murder him and, chop him up into little bits and do crazy, do terrible things to him. I'm like, okay, Optimus, you're the badass warrior. You're protecting your squad. You got to fight. You do have to fight to protect your family, but you don't have to say I'm going to relish, feeding your bones to eating your flesh or anything like that. Just calm down on the blood. Calm down on cutting people's heads off. And
yeah, as Eraser said.
Yeah, I just feel like his dialogue doesn't fit like how my conception of Optimus in terms of yes, he'd be angry, he would be he would want to stop Scourge, but he would kill him reluctantly. He would not kill him with great abandon and glee and shoving him into the lava as hard as he can.
Yeah, I did like the using the lava in the fight though, having Prime splash the lava onto his face and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you though, Charles, too. That did bother me several times throughout the movie. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight Scourge and then take off his head, and then like that was during the car chase scene, and then like where they're like wrestling down the mountain, and then like there was that part where Optimus Primal and him are fighting Battle Trap. Yeah, that's the Terracon. And then like Optimus Primal just starts smashing his head in, and then Prime's like, that one was my kill or something. And I was like, and people laughed in the movie theater, but I was like, I don't really see him doing this, but this is a different Optimus. You know, this is not our G1 guy. This is a movie version. But I do have something to add, but like I want you to finish your thoughts on the movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much. I guess the one thing to positive, I thought it was nice to see Optimus like fighting Scourge and realizing that Scourge is more powerful than him, and like not understanding why this guy is more powerful than him, and Scourge being like, you call yourself a Prime? You suck. Yeah. So I did appreciate like they made it clear that the Terracons were a credible threat, and that you know, they're powered by Unicron's energy, Dark Energon. They didn't say Dark Energon, but you know that's what we'll say it is. But yeah, go ahead, Apollo. I think I'm finished.
Okay. Well, a few things that I wanted to ask your guys your thoughts on this with Scourge, like. The way he was designed, to me, he looked a lot like Tarn just because of the whole mask thing. And even when his mask was taken off, he was scarred in the same spot as Tarn was. So I don't know if that was an actual design choice, like by the character designer to like, you know, make him look like Tarn. But like I was like, oh, he's kind of like got Tarn vibes to me, just the character did. And then the other thing that bothered me at the end was when the computer got destroyed and Optimus is like, I have to go sacrifice myself. There was enough time for him to drive back after.
That's what Optimus's thing is, though. It's like, oh no, you stubbed your toe. I have to make the ultimate sacrifice now.
Yeah, but like then Noah comes back and is like trying to pull him up, and then Optimus Primal, and it's like, okay, there was enough time for you to go blow this thing up and come back, but maybe he needed the power of human spirit and friendship. You know, the friendship is magical, and like it renewed his spirit, so he would get back up.
Also, after the battle, if I'm Noah, I'm like, you know, you should have let me destroy the key ahead of time, right?
Yes.
You realize that now, right?
Yes.
Because we wound up destroying it anyway.
Yeah. They had to come to that point in their own growth, though.
Yeah.
I will say, in terms of Scourge, I'm sure he is inspired by Tarn's design. Although with the mask off, I thought he looked a lot like Ultron from.
He did too.
Yeah. And that kind of took me out of it for a minute.
Yeah, I didn't. We have feedback about that too, so maybe we can transition to that if we're done, or if there are any final thoughts from anyone before we move on. All right, well, that is our review of Transformers: Rise of the Beast. So let us know what your thoughts are. Come back for our live stream on Monday, and we can hash everything out again. But we do have a little bit of feedback this week, specifically on Rise of the Beast. So let's get into that now. All right, feedback. Again, we're still in spoiler territory. So, if you've heard the review we did of Rise of the Beast, we're still talking spoilers. So you shouldn't come back if you haven't watched the movie yet. But we did get an email from a friend of the show, Paul Calicode, who's a longtime listener of the show. Sent us an email about Rise of the Beast and about Scourge. So Paul writes, slight spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. In the final battle, when Mirage kicks Scourge's mask off, was that supposed to be some sort of big reveal moment? To me, it looked like kind of like the old Bayverse Megatron's face and head, but we haven't seen Megs in the Bumblebee reboot verse yet. And Scourge is definitely dead at the end of the battle. Maybe that was the death of that design for us who didn't care for that version of Megatron, with G1 Megs stomping Bayverse Megs meme here. Bad comedy. to make room for actual new G1-ish design to be used in the next movie. Anyway, loved the movie. Can't wait to hear y'all's thoughts. Keep up the good work. Well, you just heard our thoughts, Paul, so thank you for sending that in. I think, I mean, I don't think the Scourge reveal was, at least I'm not aware of who it was supposed to be. I mean, we talked about it being potentially a reference to Tarn, but the face underneath the mask was not anyone I recognized. So, you know,
I like the idea that it's an alternate universe Optimus Prime that had fully gone bad. Like it is the ultimate culmination of the Bayverse Prime.
Yeah, you know, I would have appreciated a line in the movie if Scourge had been like, when he's fighting him, he's like, "Oh, you call yourself a Prime? I've got so much power. You know, on some worlds they call me Nemesis Prime." That would have been a nice little line of dialogue, but I would have been only for Jeremy, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
although, it is Scourge that transforms into a black truck.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's Nemesis Prime.
Scourge.
So, but Paul, I don't think, I mean, I hope that we will get new versions of Megatron and other Decepticons in future Transformers movies, since we're wiping away the Bayverse, so all Decepticons are back on the table.
And we didn't see Megatron at all in Bumblebee.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I hope we can finally get Bumblebee to speak again after this movie. I mean, I think, we can let him talk again. The Mirage proves that we can have a chatty Transformer character. So give us back Bumblebee. So
Bumblebee will stay mute, but they'll introduce Wheelie.
Oh no.
Oh man. Well, we had a Wheelie in the Bayverse, so it'll be a different Wheelie.
Wheelie Smith.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. This is going to be a long one. Since we've got the whole movie review and some comics news that we talked about too. So buckle up. This was a long episode. Thanks everyone for sticking around, hanging out with us. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you enjoyed our thoughts. Again, come back on Monday for our live stream at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll all be here to hear about your thoughts on the movie and talk about it with you.
And if you can't make it, send us feedback, voicemails, or just emails or whatever, and we'll integrate that with the live stream as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, everyone. Apollo, thanks again for hanging out with us. And why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online, since you have been unsnapped and you've been restored to the timeline.
Yes, I've been restored to the timeline. I've been rebuilt. I'm stronger, faster, smarter. So anyways, you can find me. I am back on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at RoboPaulo. I have started working on Transformers inspired art again. I have commissions open as well. So if you'd like to sign up, there's information on both those sites on how you can do that. I'm also involved in the Discord server for Transmissions. So I really recommend that you join if you haven't joined already. It's a fun, safe place to talk about Transformers and other nerdy stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, you can go there at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. That's where you can join up. All right. And as always, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions at the end of every episode. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and we really appreciate that. So that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John Forex Levengood and Demon Tech 82. We really appreciate your support. And thanks everyone for watching and listening to this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.